Hello and welcome to Capricorn Makes. I'm Stacy, and in this video I wanted to sort of follow on from Swandz BJD wishlist video that I just watched this afternoon. I didn't actually intend to copycat this. I had just written down something in my notebook entitled Current Doll Obsessions, because I have found that, like, as I've been looking at things, I sort of fall in and out of love with certain things while my tastes are refining. And I thought you might find it interesting to find out who is essentially on my top 10 list. I don't actually think there's 10 dolls here, but we'll see. Okay, number one, who's at the like planned to buy stage of wish list is of course the Doll Chateau Snowborn human version, who's a 72 or 73 centimeter large thing, not the centaur version. He's fabulous, he's wonderful, he encapsulates a long-running I'm not even sure you'd really call him a character. He's just sort of like an embodiment of winter. I know I've talked about him before, but having grown up partially in Alaska and being obsessed with the light and the weather in the winter there, ever since I was quite young, I sort of had this fanciful Jack Frost character, and it's that sculpt, and I want him for no other reason than he makes me absolutely blisteringly happy. But things that are just sort of seared into my brain at the moment as things that I want, beyond that. I am obsessed with the idea of a doll legend Frank on I think it's a 58 centimeter girl body, so it's an SD. And the Frank sculpt just cracks me up. I would love to actually have it with the wig that is shown on the photos for the, it's a boy sculpt, but it's got like, it's really sort of wan and pale and like and with a really narrow pointy chin and like red lips and hair that's not too much longer than mine is, with the same kind of shape to it, but it just looks like the epitome of like a woman from the like a really mod woman who just doesn't give a damn. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I kind of have, and I'm actually, I'm so sad because that Frank head on that body, which is kind of skinny, kind of not awkward, but like really long and angular. Angular is a good word for it. And kind of really fabulous. She, like, that particular hybrid would make a fantastic, like the person who is in charge of the Velveteen world where Anthem and Delaney work. But it's the wrong scale because this is an SD doll and everyone else is in MSDs, because of course it is. Not that I don't have other character ideas that this could work for, but it's something that I'm sort of sitting on and thinking about as future plans, because just that doll and dressing that doll in like crazy Cruella de Vil clothes and like really like mod, like sort of the really angular weird 1920s clothing, like the stuff that's like super boxy and like mannish, and I'm just like I want to dress this doll, which, you know, for me is a lot of the appeal of this. I mean, I just have such a strong vision for what I want out of that doll that in and of itself is appealing. Okay, so along those same veins, on that same body, which is the Doll Eves girl body, the 50, I think it's 58, may not be that tall. Also on that body, a good head for that, I don't know if the resin match is any good, but a Dollzone Merlin, who I actually like so much I accidentally wrote down twice on my list. That head makes me so happy, sort of as a... Actually, I really like the full set doll. The full set doll with his lanky boy body and like all of his, like his peasant shirt and his leggings and like that big wrap that he has and his like like, he is so over it. Like, that sculpt is so over everything ever. And I actually really would love that sculpt on the small busted doll legend body for a sort of teenage, like young teenage girl who is, I'm not even sure if I can like really easily explain her character, but she's just sort of this girl who just doesn't, she doesn't, let's see if I can find my thoughts around this. She reads, she doesn't care about anything. She is really sort of recalcitrant and really saturnine, and that sculpt just captures everything that I was looking for in that absolutely doesn't give a fuck. I mean, clearly doesn't give a fuck dolls are kind of my like what I'm attracted to. I really like that, and I like that both of those sculpts are not beautiful or are not traditionally, you know, masculine, or I mean, I love them. Like, I love them for girls, hands down. I actually really do like them as boys as well, but the characters that I have that are sort of attaching themselves to these sculpts are hilarious to me. So, and both of those sculpts together on the hybrid could actually go in the same universe. Like, I have this sort of like the era of aviation setting that my SD dolls could go into really, really well. And actually the Snowborn human could play a part in that as well. He's really, really, really doll for that particular scale, but these are also not supposed to be, like, I mean, the one doll is a, would be like a very young teenager at, you know, 53 or 58 centimeters, however tall that particular body is. And then the other woman, or, you know, the Frank sculpt would be sort of this like mod, tiny, angular creature. So I think it could work, even though there would be quite a significant height difference, and he would be absolutely the tallest in that range. Again, the Lumedoll Atik, who I was talking about, is a potential person for the Dr. Mechanic in the Velveteen story. I'm not sold on it. I actually am, like, while I really do like that sculpt, I just worry that the fashion size heads are going to really look strange with Delaney and Anthem sculpts. So I'm thinking I may actually try and sculpt my own. I mean, like, this may actually be the first sculpt that I work towards, you know, for real. Oh, you will see how that goes. Who else is on here? I really like the new limited edition Soul Kid Gavi. And her full set. She's got sort of like a, you know, Victorian kids, like girls outfit, sort of secret garden-y, but then she's got like this hood with bunny ears on it, and her face is pretty in a way that doesn't offend me, which sounds really weird, but it's like, I look at her and I see the prettiness of her face, and I'm actually drawn to it, rather than being like, oh, it's a pretty doll, which I often do, because I find a lot of pretty dolls not boring, because that's not true, because I really like what other people do with pretty dolls. I really do enjoy seeing what other people are doing with their beautiful dolls, but they're also not the kind of thing that usually appeals to me. That prettiness is not a character that I find, it's not something that I find interesting in my own characters and in my own dolls. Like, it's not a defining characteristic for them, so it's not necessary in their sculpts. And so, just like the Frank sculpt, who is just like, and the Merlin sculpt, who is like, you know, I mean, like, I like those expressions of like irritation and being above everything. Like, I mean, like, you can really see that they're not meant to be beautiful, and I love that. I really, really love that. But the Gavi, on the other hand, just she's pretty in a way that appeals to me. She's very neutral. She's very, like I'm talking about her in not so very flattering terms, but the reason why I'm drawn to her so much is because whatever it is about her prettiness, and sweetness that she has in her face and playfulness, that is drawing me in. And that in and of itself is unusual enough for me to take note of that. Because she is a limited doll and I do have other plans, I may not be able to afford her at all in, you know, in my doll buying plan schemes. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like, she could be one of those things that I get for myself, just because. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see who else is on here. Oh, so dolls that are, again, that are in that category of not really pretty dolls, but interesting dolls are the Little Monica, Little Lariat on the little, I can't read my handwriting, but there, she's on like the MSD body. And I like how she's not beautiful. She's not cutesy. She's, you know, she kind of has like an awkward mouth and chubby cheeks, and she looks sad, but not in that like, oh, I'm sad. She looks sad in a like, you know, which is not a very vocal way to to explain that, but it's just, I like the directions that I've seen people take her face, and I like her sculpt blank, which is a really good sign. Like, if you like a sculpt unpainted, it's a really, really good sign that you're going to be able to find a lot of things to do with that sculpt. That is not to say that like sculpts that look odd blank aren't like that. But yeah, I find that there's a lot of detail that can come just from the sculpt itself rather than having to like project onto a blanker canvas, which works a lot better for some people and for some artists, taking something that is really simple and being able to push that in all sorts of different directions because they're not constrained by the limitations of a more detailed sculpt. So I don't know, we'll see. I mean, like, there are some dolls like that that are simpler sculpts that can be pushed in a lot of different directions that I do like. Speaking of dolls that can be pushed in some really interesting directions, I really like the Souldoll Lester. Like, I kind of want one of those 50 centimeter boy dolls. Like, the Bat Chicks dolls are interesting, but like none of the sculpts are something that I'm like, oh my god, yes, let me have this right now. And it's mostly because I think I could see the Souldoll Lester working for, like I've talked about, sort of like that Mongolian thing. I have a doll that's kind of in that range in mind. And I think he could work well as an analog, not a Mongolian analog, but I don't know. Like, but I would kind of want to get him and dye him. Like, I want him to be dark. I want him to be like, really push him into sort of Arabic territory. Again, another set of dolls that just aren't out, you know, they're not represented in doll form. And I guess finishing up the list is any kind of sheepy anthro. Like, right now, that's where it's at. Those teeny tiny anthro sheep, like Heavy Rain, or I don't remember the one that's, I don't know, there's quite a few of them out there that every time I see one, I'm like, oh, it's perfect and beautiful, and I just want to get it and have a whole little army of sheepies. Yeah, because of course I do. But yeah, so I mean, like, this list might change up dramatically, and I might, like, once a month sit down and go like, all right, here's the dolls that are, or, you know, whenever there are appreciable changes in this, because I'm sure some of these will drop off the list. And I mean, this isn't a complete list. These are just the ones that are sort of at the top of my brain at the moment. Like, I have, you know, that was what, 10 dolls maybe, and I have like pages of things that I have found interesting and companies that I found interesting, and, you know, sculpts that are well out of availability that I would just have to sort of haunt on the secondhand market. And what would I do with it? Because it's in a weird scale, or it's not, like, who knows? I mean, but I think, like, as I'm learning and as I'm sort of refining my tastes, sort of keeping track of all of this stuff is a really valuable tool. and I hope you also enjoyed sort of hearing about the things. I will try and put links to everything in the description below so that you can see the dolls that I'm talking about. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.